let's talk about perspective and perception. So they differ from person to person, right? And a really good illustration of this is that dress that went viral a few years ago, where people were divided between whether they saw blue and black or white and gold. Well, I fall into the white and gold category, and my boyfriend sees black and blue. And so I wanted to paint him a picture of how I see the dress so that he could see it from my perspective. So I will insert a photo of the palette I used. Keep in mind that when I paint, I don't just use white paint from a tube and that's it. I will, like if I'm painting snow, I'll add a little bit of blue to the white to make a cool white snow scene, and purple to the snow to add shadows, or yellow to show like sunlight and give it a warmer tone. So I rarely use just white except in highlights. Like if I was painting a pair of eyes and wanted to show that one little spark, I would just use plain old white. That's the only time I use plain white. So I paint this picture of the white and gold dress for him. So I didn't use blue. I used purple, but that's red and blue. So, but only a touch of purple added to the white to show what I perceive as white in shadow. So here is my painting. It was just a quick study, like a little impressionistic one. I see this as white and gold. So I send the picture to my boyfriend and say, here's how I see the dress. And he said, asked what colors I used, and I told him. And he said, well, I can see those colors in it too, but I see that you painted a black and blue dress. So I can't even paint a picture of how I see something. Like, I'm translating it from photograph to brain to canvas, or in this case, paper. So I can't just literally show someone how I see something. And so I just don't see how I could ever explain anything to make someone understand it from my perspective. So just knowing that I can't describe the dress in all its white and gold glory to him, which I know that supposedly the dress truly is black and blue, and I still see white and gold. And I've read that the experts say it's because of how we perceive the stuff around the dress, the lighting around the dress, that how we determine whether or not, what color it is, or whether or not it's white and gold, black and blue, etc. But I can zoom in to a tiny square of the dress, and where it shows the stripe border, and I still see white and gold without anything else in the picture. I still see white and gold, and I'm zoomed in. So I kind of disproved their theory on that. So I kind of just want to give up trying to explain my perspective on things to anyone ever. And I am a big time over explainer because I have felt so misunderstood my entire life. And I have been misunderstood my entire life. And it's been so frustrating for me. But this just makes me realize that it's kind of pointless. And I don't mean to discourage anyone. I mean for it to take the pressure off. Like, there's no point. So, because we can't live inside the brain of another person. We just cannot be inside that person's mind to see things the way that they do, literally or just metaphorically speaking. We can't understand the world the way someone else does. So it's almost as if a different universe exists inside the brain of every living creature. And those without a brain, you know, they have their own perspective as well. So I can't explain anything in any detail that is going to force that perspective to shift. So I'm not saying it's never worth giving an explanation or anything. It's just that, and I should accept when they don't understand it because they can't be inside my brain. And I feel very misunderstood so much of the time that I just really try, and I will over explain. Oh my gosh, I'm a really bad big time over explainer when I feel like somebody has misunderstood me about something that's important. And I will try to, especially like for me, if I do something to hurt someone, I will apologize and then give them an explanation of my thought process and why I did something that ended up in, you know, maybe hurting their feelings, because I personally want to know why. Somebody can tell me, "Oh, I'm sorry I hurt you," and they think that that's good enough. For me, that's not good enough, and I've come to this realization the hard way when people, I don't know if it's a neurotypical thing that I've noticed that a lot of, at least it's common among a lot of neurotypicals that I know. I'm not saying it's exclusive to them, but they want you to say, they want you to apologize and that's it, and zip it. And not give them an explanation, not tell them what your thought process is. And they see that as you giving excuses. And when they apologize to me, they think that them saying, "I'm sorry," is good enough. And it's not for me. Like, I need that explanation. I don't need excuses. And there is a difference. And I, you know, when somebody's just BSing me, I get, somebody giving me BS excuses. That's no good. But when someone is giving me an explanation of their thought process and how that led them to the action that hurt me, that feels like a complete apology to me. That way I can understand them better and their actions. And then I can tell them how it hurt me, and maybe we can avoid it and hurt again in the future. But so I need that explanation. I need those reasons. And when somebody just says, "I'm sorry," it doesn't feel like it ends there for me. And like, that is one thing that is a difference of, just a difference in people's preferences, I guess. But that's just one way in which I feel so misunderstood, is when I apologize and offer an explanation, I'm seen as giving excuses, but I'm not. I am trying to explain my thoughts and why it happened. I'm still apologetic that it happened. So, I've realized that I have to, if I do offer an explanation, I have to still end on "I'm sorry." But so many people just don't offer me an explanation if they do something that hurts my feelings. Or so many times that has occurred. I wouldn't say so many people because I don't interact with that many people. But so many times that people have hurt me, they're just like, "I'm sorry I hurt you." Okay, and? And why did you do that? And what are you going to do about it in the future to prevent that from happening again? Or, those kinds of things. But there's just no way to prevent misunderstandings. They're gonna happen, and it sucks, but I think now that I realize that there's just absolutely nothing I can do to change anyone's perspective, maybe that just going back to this whole dress painting scenario in my head will just kind of help me remember that sometimes we literally do not see things the same way. And maybe that will help. And I will probably still over-explain because that's just my nature. But maybe I will understand faster that no amount of explaining is going to help them to see things the way my brain does, especially since I am neurodivergent. So it's very unlikely they're going to be able to experience things exactly the way I do. Since no two people in the world can. So that was just a little thought that I had on perspective, perception, whichever one you want to call it.